Castlevania, a series richer in lore and history than Drax faces with whip marks, filled with classic after classic after classic, and mistake after mistake after mistake.
And naturally, for such a big franchise of such temperamental quality, there's bound to be some games that for most people manage to slip through the cracks. Well, fair enough, I guess, they are pretty small. In the early days of gaming, if an NES or SNES title reached a certain level of success, its transition from big screen to big brick was inevitable. And some of these were pretty great. Link's Awakening is a well-known gem, but similar amounts of polish and flair can be found in Donkey Kong, Tetris, and the Game Boy Mega Mans. The Mega Man. And following the first two NES titles, it was time for Castlevania to undergo the same treatment. The Game Boy Castlevania games, most likely due to their system of origin, have become somewhat of a mysterious relic of the franchise. Unlike their contemporary linear console platformers or subsequent non-linear GBA and DS versions, not much is really said at all for these games. But just looking at the first game's box art, I think we're in for something special. We got some Belmont, spooky castle, and what looks like the bastard love child of Dracula, Andros, and the Emperor from Star Wars. The Castlevania The Adventure. That is a title screen if I've ever seen one. This game came out in 1989, the same year as the Game Boy, and naturally the first few games of any new console aim primarily to show off the new capabilities and features of the system.
So in that regard, I guess Castlevania The Adventure's main focus would be to exist and be handheld. The hell am I getting myself into?
So the game just sort of starts like bam. No intro, no exposition, no standing suspense at the outside of the castle gates, none of that. Well, here it is. The game, I guess. Why do I move so slowly? Why is this guy so angry? Fucking sky zombies? Whoa, oh, where are my legs? This is how I die. So first impressions are in and are not overly positive. It controls like garbage for one. While classic Castlevania games were never known for their smooth, free-flowing movement, this takes it to a whole other level of clunk. And I appreciate, no, believe me, more than anyone, I appreciate the lack of stairs, but these ropes everywhere like we're scaling the goddamn post-apocalyptic jungle gym isn't much better. And oh my, these bats. Game over. I'll game you over. Konami, kill me faster. You know, it's games like this that sometimes you just need to step back and think, someone made this. Someone actually, applied for a job at Konami, and then they were accepted, and then they took the job, and sometime later they woke up one morning, got dressed, maybe had some breakfast, and went into work and thought, I'm gonna put 10 fucking billion blocks here, because I care about my future at this company. So whatever. Somehow I cleared dem jumps, and here's a super easy boss battle you can just kind of wail on till it dies. The difficulty starts fairly easy for Castlevania, but most of the struggle here on out comes from knowing when to quit. Alright, game. So you take away the sub-weapons from the NES, make it so I can only awkwardly attack right in front of me, then start level with enemies directly above.
In bird culture, this is considered a dick move.
And that's when it hit me. Suddenly, full force like a charging cow.
This game is awful.
I hadn't exactly heard the most glowing praise, and I'll admit this was perhaps a slow realization, but Christ, nothing in this game is good. It's not just the controls or the physics, everything just sucks. The level design is slow, too broad and tedious, with the enemy placements going between awkward as all heck, and sitting ducks posing no threat at all. And the designs themselves don't fit in at all with the dark, horror-inspired cast of the other games, with baddie concepts ranging from uninspired to just fucking silly. My, it's a pretty spoopy game we got here. Sock Puppet, Boomerang Man, Castlevania The Adventure, rated N for no. Now, I'll admit, it has its moments, like the second boss, where the group of bouncing foes appear from 4 doors ranging in heights, which is actually a neat concept, executed as well as this game would allow. Or the destructible bridge mechanic where reckless whipping could make navigation more difficult, but the overwhelming majority is just clunky, boring, and aggravating. Are you fucking kidding me?
Well, that was an adventure. The Castlevania, it was the Castlevania, it's a bad game.
But following sales, one Konami employee would go on to describe as, it was okay, citation needed, a sequel was born, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge, released in 1991. Especially with 2 in the title, it's becoming easier to draw parallels between the first 2 Game Boy games and the first 2 Castlevanias on NES. And bear in mind, Castlevania The Adventure was a bastardization of a very good game. Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest isn't such a title, so at this point my expectations for Belmont's Revenge are just sky high, really. Straight away, we've got a level select screen, a la Mega Man, with 4 castles representing the first 4 stages. So I guess it's adapting to its portable roots better than the adventure ever did? I'm gonna go for the one that looks like Dracula's castle. Maybe we can sneak in an early ending. Although I can't be too harsh. This game already does control the leaps better than the previous, which is good, and this music is nice. A lot of similar mechanics and enemies return, but are made more bearable due to improved level design and presentation. It's starting to feel like good Castlevania again, and even from the first level, the unique stage-specific mechanics give the game a flavour of its own. Look, Dracula, buddy, I know times are tough, but I never thought we'd reach the point where you couldn't afford to make your spiky walls out of anything other than painted fucking cardboard. Another really nice touch is how the music changes as you approach the boss's lair. It gives a really good sense of suspense, keeping you wondering about what you'll be up against until the final revelation of this thing. And while it looks dumb, like, really dumb, I don't even care because it's interesting, both in its crazy design and execution, with its having 2 spots it can be attacked and attacked from, and more unique attacks it can pull off between them. It's the sort of boss that feels far more typically Castlevania than anything the adventure had due to how original it is, and this all makes finally slaying the beast feel more satisfying as you had to confront something you likely hadn't before, work out its weaknesses and use them against it. Vanquish the foe, collect the, oh no, that's okay, I don't want shiny glowing balls anyway, and that's when it hit me. Like a drunk speeding car to an overly opportunistic hitchhiker.
This game is great!
And not just for a Game Boy game, or compared to the adventure either, it's a genuinely excellent entry to the series as a whole. Presentation is much improved, but with an impressive soundtrack to boot, and all my issues with the last game have all but disappeared. It takes plenty from the NES games, like sub-weapons and grand boss battles, but instead of trying to copy those games with worse technology, it does well to accept its limitations and work with them to form its own identity. The 4 different castles the game begins with, each with exclusive enemies, mechanics and music, all feel totally different and give the game far stronger pick up and play appeal that works as a handheld entry. In terms of ranking within the linear games in the series, I'd place it somewhere between Bloodlines and Castlevania 3, which I know is a ballsy statement, but hey, I'm in a ballsy mood. So we make it through the first 4 levels and oh what a surprise, it's followed by Dracula's castle, and then a climactic showdown with an unknown human figure. I'm surprised you made it this far. The rebirth of Dracula will occur soon. You cannot destroy me, father. Father? I do believe we are missing some major plot details. After intensive research and bothering to read the intro prologue, I discover this game puts you in the shoes of Christopher Belmont, same as in the adventure. Following Dracula's defeat at the finale of the last game, oh yeah, spoilers, he seeks reincarnation by using and possessing Christopher's son, Solero. This boss fight pits you against Solero in a Skywalker-esque battle for blood. It's a great setup and a fairly interesting fight, forcing you to master spacing between you, him, and his multiple attacks to win. Ouch! What am I doing?
You know, every day I wake up with the exact same sentiment.
And you all know the drill from here. Final level, beat Dracula, finish the game. Sorry, spoilers to nearly every Castlevania, it's always Dracula. You know, I really didn't expect this game to be this good, but alas, we've reeled in a beauty. A weird, wonderfully classic vintage Castlevania beauty. Like, it's the sequel to a very shitty game, in parallel to an even dumber and also shitty game, but still, Castlevania 2 Belmont's Revenge once again proves that 2 wrongs do indeed make a right.
So remember kids, if anyone hits you, intentionally or no, make sure to beat them up, steal their money, and burn their house down. Wait, what? Castlevania Legends, the last stop on our road to mutual destruction. The 3rd Castlevania released for the Game Boy and our final segment for this video today.
I think important to understanding the DNA of this specific game, we just have to look at when it was released, 1998, a full 7 years after Belmont's Revenge. And in that time, the series had gone through some serious changes, with such games as Super Castlevania 4, Rondo of Blood, and the single most pivotal game to the franchise yet, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Legends pits you as Sonia Belmont and tells of the legends that set the events of future games into motion, being the first canonical appearance of the Belmont clan, Dracula, and Alucard. But according to longtime series developer Koji Igarashi, due to contradictions between it and other games, it's been removed from the franchise timeline, so anything that happens is ultimately irrelevant. But based solely on the last game in the series and last series game on the same console, we must be in for a treat. Title screen, something something Dracula, and we're in. Game Boy remix of Bloody Tears to start us off? Yes. And we can change movement direction mid-air after jumping. Oh, it's a good day. Oh, it's a good day indeed. Judging on the initial first 5 seconds of gameplay seems a good way to review games if we want to go the path of the modern games journalist. and this is a sweet first impression. Just forget the fact I said Igarashi personally described this game as something of an embarrassment for the series. It's not important at all. First signs of Symphony of the Night inspiration are coming in as we approach a dead end a few minutes into the first level. I can't at all see where I'm meant to go from here, so I just begin falling. This hole, no. This hole, no, wait, yes? Okay, this is gonna be good.
Two questions. Firstly, a fairly simple one. Why is this here? It adds nothing. Secondly, if you're going to try the route of exploration-focused level design, why would you place the actual way to go completely hidden 5 feet behind where you'd think you were meant to be going? Oh right, Symphony of the Night was pretty cool. Oh look, we did an owl card. Bada bing, bada buy our merchandise.
Boss time! That's Batman. That's just straight up. Batman. You know what my favourite part about Symphony of the Night was? The dead ends. Like, usually they had some kind of reward to them or interesting presentation aesthetic and weren't overly irritating because you knew they would serve some purpose later on at least. But in the end, that's not important. We play these games just for the satisfaction, the honour of having to turn back and aimlessly walk around not knowing where to go until you stumble across some hole. Legends got it right. Dead ends and needless backtracking are the funnest. Why can't more games understand this? Mario Odyssey? I can be relevant, and that's when it hit me. Like the 2019 apocalypse no one predicted.
This game is bad.
I want to like it, I really do, because it does cool things and improves a lot, but it just does so much dumb shit. The backtracking, the horrible enemy placements, the complete regressing of Belmont's Revenge's excellent stages to these way too open-ended bollocks where most enemies are nothing more than sitting whip fodder. Coincidentally, the title of my autobiography. Sub-weapons are replaced by these power-up moves that are way too gimmicky and not a well thought-out replacement to the former items, especially after shortening the length of your whip so much like they did. The bosses are bland, the story's dull, and it's all just so boring. Continue? Whoa, okay, I mean that's a pretty intense line of questioning. Can I call my lawyer? It's not as good as Belmont's Revenge, and I'd struggle to call it much better than The Adventure either. On technical levels it surpasses it, sure, but while The Adventure had very little going for it, this is like a catalogue of the series' failures, linear and exploration focused. Legends is just a lazy act of phoning it in, clearly made to capitalize off the success of Alucard and Symphony of the Night.
So my countdown black guide for this one. Go play Symphony of the Night. I think we're done here.
And those are the Game Boy Castlevanias. A piece of shit, a soulless cash-in, and a really fun little game. Veritably, the bacon between two turds.
It's a shame that such a classic like Belmont's Revenge should be forgotten this way, but given the two failures that were dragged into obscurity with it, it's probably for the best.
So I hope I've managed to inform you all concerning the highs and lows of the Castlevania Game Boy library, from the opening frames of Castlevania The Adventure to the final boss Dracula Showdown of Legends.
Okay, that's not a spoiler. It's always Dracula. He's always Bacula. Give him a smacular. It's not spectacular. Okay, Google, how do I end a review?
Thank you for watching this newfangled YouTube-centric online sound video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, links to another Castlevania video, links to another review, and I'll just put my Patreon up there, you know, like, oh, hint hint, nudge nudge kind of thing, you know what I'm saying? And remember to like, comment, and subscribe.